Guys, thank you so much for all the love on this video. I've been reading all the comments and yeah, I'm feeling the love. I basically just done what every journalist should be doing. I'm not a Meghan Markle stan. I don't have posters of her on my bedroom wall or anything. I'm just a journalist and I'm trying to do what's right. I'm trying to report on her fairly. I obviously wasn't sure before going into this interview what was the standard in jam production, so I just researched it. I had a look online and I just wanted to see what was industry standard to make jam and to meet demand, and outsourcing it to a manufacturing plant is normal. Like, it is so normal. Every single business in the world does that. All of your favorite celebrities, they're not making things themselves. Kim Kardashian is not knitting knickers and bras herself at home. Like, she has a manufacturing plant to do it, but she's the brains behind the brand. It's the exact same thing that Meghan Markle is doing, but she's just held to a different standard for some reason. And exactly this comment, if she had made it in her kitchen, there would be uproar about how unsanitary it is. There would be questions why she's not using a manufacturing plant when she was inevitably unable to meet demand. And there would be thousands of articles complaining about customers not getting their products, which is what we're already seeing with the wine. Now, regardless of what you feel personally about Meghan, you might like her, you might be indifferent about her, or you might love her. But one thing is undeniable. The way she's being covered in the press is deeply unbalanced and it's extremely harsh. All you have to do is open your eyes and go online, type in Meghan Markle and look at the article headlines that come up. The way she's covered, no other celebrity in the world has been covered like that at the moment, and no other member of the royal family has been covered like that, besides Harry probably. So I just think the state of journalism today has completely lost its integrity and its fairness. And it's the number one rule that we learn as journalists when we go do our master's degrees, is that we need to be balanced. We need to be fair. And for some reason that has just been thrown out the window with Meghan. Now, I do believe it's probably because hate sells more papers, and Meghan Markle sells a lot of papers. So just her name alone, she is very popular. She'll get loads of clicks and she'll make the papers a lot of money. So pairing those two things together, hate and Meghan Markle, it seems to be very profitable. And Meghan Markle even said herself, she doesn't need everybody to love her. She doesn't care if people hate her. But the press is starting to feel like relentless and bullying at this point. And yeah, like I said, there's no other celebrity who gets this. I think Princess Diana probably got this level of hate in the press until she died, of course, and then she was loved. Anyway, just one last thing from me. I just want to put out there that I'm not a Meghan Markle stan. I don't have pictures of her on my bedroom wall. I don't think of her regularly. I'm Irish, so the royal family I'm quite indifferent to in general. I don't hate them, but I also don't love them. I don't think about them very often, but I'm indifferent to them. So it's not as if I'm out here trying to promote Meghan Markle in any way, and I definitely don't work for her like he suggested. I'm just trying to do what's fair and what's right as a journalist. If it wasn't Meghan Markle and it was somebody else, I would just be doing the exact same thing. If she was on the Epstein files, by God, I would be doing the negative stories. I would be calling her out and I would be there, but the woman is making jam.
When I first spoke to him, he said he wasn't going to attend the wedding, but it was his decision because he felt he had embarrassed Meghan and he had embarrassed the royal family. Thomas said that he participated in the taking of these photos because he wanted to change the narrative around how he was viewed, because up until the point he was working with this paparazzo, the photos being taken of him were not complimentary. So you have a photo of him going to his local convenience store buying beer in a plastic bag, and you think of that as the father of this glamorous woman who's going to be marrying Prince Harry. And that's not necessarily the image that he wanted the world to see.
We need to talk about how Kate Middleton's closet started looking like Meghan's, and not by accident. Because once Meghan broke the mold, it's like Kate suddenly got a Pinterest board and called it "What Would Meghan Wear?" Let's rewind. Meghan enters the royal scene in 2017, and everything shifts. She's not just wearing clothes, she's curating moments. Sharp blazers, wide-leg trousers, sleek dresses, effortless coats. The girl brought Calvin Klein minimalism to a palace full of curtain valances. And at first, Kate kept doing Kate. Buttoned up, ultra traditional, a little Stepford. Then, Meghan stepped out in a navy-laced DVF mini. Not long after, Kate wore the exact same silhouette. Same designer, just a longer hemline. Meghan shows up in a scarlet off-the-shoulder midi. Boom! Kate appears in red, asymmetrical gown with nearly identical styling. Meghan's out here in Barber jackets, skinny jeans, and boots during her New Zealand tour. Full countryside glam without losing edge. Next thing you know, Kate's serving the same I'm down to earth to realness. Green jacket, brown boot, everything but a latte in hand. But it's not just the casual looks. Meghan made the monogram power suit her signature. White blazer, wide leg pants, clean lines. Then all of a sudden, Kate's wearing tailored two-pieces, ditching her floral frocks and frilly collars for something distinctly Meghan-esque. And the bags? Meghan made Strathberry a thing in 2017. Carried it like a badge of I support emerging designers. Flash forward to 2024. Kate Middleton strolls into the Order of the Garter ceremony with the same damn brand, same style, same Meghan flavor. And sure, you could say it's coincidence, but how many coincidences does it take before it's a trend? Before it's a pattern? Before it's inspiration that dare not speak its name? Because here's the thing. Meghan walked into the palace and broke every fashion rule they never thought to question. She wore black, she wore pants, she wore confidence. And people noticed, people copied. So no, Kate didn't invent that effortless, tailored, less is more aesthetic. She adopted it after Meghan, after the world already called it iconic. And whether it's flattery or PR strategy, one thing is clear. Meghan has the blueprint. Kate, she's the remix.
The internet thrives on drama and outrage, but sometimes it erupts over something simpler, someone refusing to join in. Recently, a respected Irish journalist found herself at the centre of an unexpected storm when she declined to criticise Meghan Markle. Instead, she pointed out that much of the negativity seemed unfair and the facts didn't support the hate. Her words went viral overnight, with thousands praising her honesty. In a world obsessed with pile-ons, her restraint was radical. The conversation exploded, hashtags flooded social media, and even critics stopped to listen. The journalist's calm, factual tone was striking. She simply asked, "Why are we so quick to believe the worst about this woman?" That question echoed across continents, making the internet pause to reconsider. This wasn't a celebrity feud or scandal. It was a challenge. It urged everyone to look at the evidence, not just the headlines, and it set the stage for a much bigger conversation about fairness, honesty, and the role of the media. From the start, Meghan Markle faced a different set of rules. When Kate Middleton wore a dress, the press called her elegant. When Meghan wore the same style, headlines screamed about breaking royal protocol. The double standards became impossible to ignore. Meghan, a biracial American actress, stood out and faced suspicion. The media treated her differently, finding fault in her words, clothes, even her facial expressions. This wasn't just about race or nationality, it was about unwritten palace and press rules. Royal women are expected to be silent and uncontroversial. Meghan was not. She spoke about mental health, shared her struggles, and broke tradition with Harry. The result? A flood of negative stories that wouldn't have been written about another royal. The Irish journalist highlighted this, asking viewers to compare headlines side by side. The difference was stark, a lesson in how subtle bias becomes glaringly obvious. For audiences, this double standard was a wake-up call. It made people question not just royal coverage, but how public opinion is shaped. The viral moment forced a reckoning with the narratives we accept. And it made clear that fairness in coverage is long overdue. Media bias isn't always loud. It's in the quiet choices, what stories to tell, what details to leave out. With Meghan Markle, bias crept in early. She was labelled ambitious, difficult, demanding, words that sound different when applied to others. But it wasn't just the media. Confirmation bias did the rest. People who disliked Meghan clicked on negative stories, fueling a feedback loop. The more you saw, the more you believed. Even when facts emerged or stories were debunked, the damage was done. People remember the headline, not the correction. Meghan became a symbol for controversy, even without evidence. The Irish journalist's refusal to join the attack broke this pattern, if only briefly. She reminded everyone that bias exists both in newsrooms and in our own heads. Her words challenged us to be more critical and honest about how opinions are formed. It was a call to see through the fog and demand better. In the age of viral news, facts often come second to catchy headlines and dramatic videos. Meghan Markle's story is a case study. Rumours spread. She made Kate cry, snubbed the Queen, demanded special treatment. Many of these stories were later proven false, but by then the narrative had taken hold. Corrections got a fraction of the attention. The public's appetite for drama was too strong. The Irish journalist asked why apologies and retractions barely made a ripple. Once a story fits a popular narrative, it's almost impossible to undo. This isn't just a media problem, it's a human one. We seek out stories that confirm what we already think. Untrue stories about Meghan worked because they fit the outsider template. To move forward, we must question what we read and care about the truth, even when it's less exciting. Journalism must stand on two pillars: fairness and truth. When journalists abandon them, trust crumbles and news becomes noise. Fairness means looking at all sides and refusing to jump on bandwagons. For Meghan, fairness would have meant comparing her actions to others and asking if the response was justified. Truth is harder, but it's the bedrock, checking sources, correcting mistakes and admitting when wrong. The Irish journalist's viral moment was a lesson facts, not rumours, should decide. Every time truth is sacrificed for drama, trust dies a little more. Rebuilding trust starts with small steps. More fact-checking, more balance, and more willingness to say, we got it wrong. Social media has changed how news is made and consumed. Now, anyone with a smartphone can challenge the story. Younger audiences are no longer passive. They fact-check, call out bias and demand receipts. The Irish journalist's comments went viral thanks to these online communities. Social media can spread rumours, but it also holds journalists accountable. Unfair stories are dissected and sometimes debunked in real time. For Meghan, social media has been both a curse. The pressure from audiences, especially younger viewers, was a factor. The Irish journalist's calm refusal to attack Meghan showed another way. This isn't just about one woman, it's about how journalists see their role. Changing minds is hard, but every admission of error sets an example. If more journalists follow this path, coverage could slowly shift toward fairness. Honesty isn't just a virtue, it's a strategy. When journalists admit mistakes or change to question your own assumptions, If the media wants to rebuild its reputation, this is the way forward. In the end, honest journalism is good for democracy, society, and every reader. The story of Meghan Markle and the Irish journalist is more than gossip. It's a lesson in what happens when the media forgets its duty. The reaction proved audiences are hungry for something better. Honesty, accountability, and fairness are the foundations of journalism that matters. Without them, the public loses faith. With them, trust grows. The future of journalism depends on this choice. Social media is amplifying new voices and challenging the old ways. The Irish journalist's viral moment is a blueprint for change. If the media follows her lead, it can become not just a mirror, but the conscience of society.